2 teens who have been arrested in a North Texas teen's accidental drowning.
Tonight, the push for answers in the death of a North Texas teen. 3 months after the body of 18-year-old Daniel Irving was found in Lake Ray Hubbard, there's been an arrest in connection with the case. Our Jayla Washington breaks down the timeline of the last few months ahead of an update from attorneys tomorrow.
Photos from over the years are some of the few things 18-year-old Daniel Irving's family has left. The body of the honor roll high school senior, who was on the swim team, according to his family, was found here in Lake Ray Hubbard nearly 3 months ago. And hand in hand since losing him, his loved ones are desperate for answers.
As a mother, I knew something had happened to my child.
On April 13, Daniel's mother says 2 males who were her son's friends picked him up from their home to go fishing. She says she couldn't reach him shortly after.
I called and texted my son multiple times, and there was no reply. I was immediately alarmed.
The next day, on April 14th, she filed a missing persons report with the Rowlett Police Department. Daniel had left behind his driver's license and money, which made her even more worried. After police put out a community alert online on April 16th, Daniel's body was found in Ray Hubbard Lake on April 17th, 4 days after he went missing. Daniel's mom says police told her they couldn't ping his phone before then because of privacy laws.
They have been met with delays instead of accountability.
Civil rights advocacy groups Next Generation Action Network and justice seekers are now working with the family and have criticized how the Rowlett Police Department has handled the case. The groups say one of the people Daniel was with before he went missing came forward after his body was found and said what happened was an accident.
So there's a lot of questions that they have, and it's understandable. We'll just have to wait for the evidence to come out. But let's see what the friend had to say.
Daniel left a home with somebody, went out there, Lake Ray Hubbard, with somebody, but nobody called his mother, nor called 911.
Police arrested 19-year-old Lucas Roper on July 9th, nearly 3 months after Daniel's death, and charged him with tampering with evidence with the intent to ruin it.
And even if he did drown, why did it take you 4 or 5 days to say anything? And that's what the family is so disturbed about.
The Dallas Police Department has now taken over the investigation. Rowlett Police told NBC5 it was unable to discuss details while the investigation remains open.
We are only here to ask for truth.
Jayla Washington, NBC5.
I mean, do you think the main thing that it sounds like we don't know if something bad happened or not, at least from this initial information that we're seeing. All we know is that he ended up drowning and his friend tried to hide the evidence, which makes him look very guilty. Let's get over into this next video and see what else it tells us.
We have a major break tonight to tell you about in the death of a North Texas teen. It was supposed to be a fun day of fishing for 3 young men at Lake Ray Hubbard. Instead, it turned deadly after the group jumped in to swim, and 18-year-old Daniel Irving never resurfaced. Now, months later, police have arrested a 19-year-old they say tried to cover up and hide what actually happened that day. Fox 4's Alex Boyer picks up our top story from there.
According to Dallas police, text messages prove that the victim and suspect knew each other and had made plans to meet up and go to a lake back in April. Now, the victim, Daniel Irving, never came home. His mom reported him missing. It wasn't until nearly 3 months after his body was recovered that police have made an arrest in connection to the case.
19-year-old Lucas Roper is accused of tampering with evidence in connection to the drowning death of 18-year-old Daniel Irving in Lake Ray Hubbard back in April. Irving's body was discovered on April 17th, 4 days after he is believed to have drowned. Irving had reportedly gone to the lake with Roper and a juvenile suspect to swim and go fishing. Days after his body was recovered, Irving's family held this news conference demanding answers.
What do we want? Justice for Daniel Irving. Amen. When do we want it? Now.
Irving's family said then that they wanted a full and transparent investigation. On July 9th, Roper was arrested by Dallas police on 1 count of tampering with physical evidence. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, Roper was interviewed by detectives after Irving's body was found. Roper told police after the three of them had jumped into the lake from the railroad track bridge, Irving drowned and Roper panicked. Instead of calling 911, the affidavit states Roper told investigators he deleted all communication with Daniel Irving from his cell phone, adding that Roper confirmed he was aware that there would be an investigation into Daniel Irving's death and he did not want to get into trouble, and states Roper threw Daniel Irving's clothes in the tree line as they fled the location. The juvenile suspect also told investigators he admitted he threw Daniel Irving's cell phone from the vehicle after suspect Roper told him to.
Yo. Yeah, they were trying to hide it. Now, do I think that they intentionally tried to kill him? No, I don't think that's the case. At least that's not how it's seeming to me. Some people might think this up to a racial thing. I think we got to be honest. He chose to jump off the bridge. It seems like he chose to jump off the bridge. He jumped off. Something happened. He either hit a shallow end or something and drowned. Now, do I think the kids deserve to be charged for hiding the evidence and trying to hide it? 100%. But some people might be thinking that they deserve a bigger punishment than that. But I just don't see it. It seems like kids did something stupid. One died, one panicked, and tried to hide the evidence of it, which kids will do. But let me know your thoughts. Let's keep going.
The family are deeply inclined, these individuals intended on no one looking for Daniel, fighting for Daniel, advocating for Daniel.
Irving's siblings said his young life was full of promise.
He had just begun his recruitment to the U.S. Army. He was trained with discipline. He carried himself with a purpose. He believed in building a life of service.
This has been tough on our family. Daniel was our protector, and I have nothing but good things to say about him. He was a good kid, and he just didn't deserve that.
Roper was booked into the Dallas County Jail. I can tell you that his bond has been set at $10,000. Now, we don't know the status of the juvenile suspect. Because he is a minor, Dallas police are not releasing any additional information.
I mean, in this case, the juvenile is going to be charged as a juvenile. They might be able to get away with it because it sounds like they might be able to make the case, or the defense attorney might be able to make the case that he was manipulated into following along with the older other suspect. So he might be able to get off with that. So video that's saying that the business owner says that his surveillance footage captured a video of the North Texas teen. What is this? Before he drowned. So let's get over into this real quick and we'll add it to this section. Let's look at this.
Amid a mother's grief,
I want justice for Daniel.
And calls for more investigation.
And we will not stop until we get justice.
David Hull,
I'm very disturbed by it,
says he sent police key evidence about what happened when 18-year-old Daniel Irving died at Lake Ray Hubbard 3 months ago.
Just in an opinion, something disturbed him and they were trying to get out of here fast.
He says the surveillance cameras on his lakeside business showed 3 teenagers getting out of a vehicle and heading toward a railroad bridge. An hour later,
we saw 2 people come back out, and they were coming very fast, running, and they got in the white vehicle and left.
Now police have arrested the pair, not for Irving's death, but for tampering with evidence. In an affidavit, they say 19-year-old Lucas Roper and a 16-year-old threw out Irving's cell phone and his clothes as they fled.
Why would you throw away his clothes and delete messages and not even call his mother?
Irving's family has hired.
I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything like that, but if the kids think they killed someone, they're going to do whatever they can to survive and in their sense and get rid of all the evidence.
Lawyers for a private investigation, and activists say they want murder charges brought.
They saw them go. They're 2 white individuals with a black male, and then when they returned to the car, they did not see
that black male.
Police say the medical examiner determined Irving drowned and ruled his manner of death was accidental. Police say Roper told them all 3 teenagers jumped into the lake from the railroad track bridge. Daniel Irving drowned and suspect Roper panicked.
The young kids today, their grandparents jumped off that bridge.
Hull calls it a rite of passage for local high schoolers, one that's caused deaths before, and now more heartache and hard questions. In Dallas, I'm Cole Sullivan.
Okay, so that right there just so people have jumped off that bridge and died before. Unless the body turned up and it had some blunt force trauma, somebody hit it in the head, shows signs of someone tried to tie it down, or something to maybe think that they got him drunk, he was intoxicated, and they threw him in. It sounds like an accident to me. But we'll look at that AI breakdown. Let's get over into it. So as we know, we had 2 teenagers have been arrested in connection with the April 2026 drowning death of 18-year-old Daniel Irving at Lake Ray Hubbard in North Texas. So the Dallas County Medical Examiner officially ruled the death as an accidental drowning. The case has drawn widespread attention due to the allegations that the victim's friend covered up the incident. High-profile civil rights attorney Ben Crump has stepped in to represent the Irving's family, who are calling for an independent investigation and murder charges. I don't know about murder charges. I truly don't. If it's how they said and he tried to jump off with them and something accidental happened, like, yes, they tried to hide the death, but I don't think they intended to murder him unless evidence come out to prove otherwise. But I don't know about that. So the incident occurred on April 13th, 2026, where he's an honor roll senior and a member of the high school swim team, went out with 2 friends for a day of fishing and swimming. A police affidavit states that the 3 young men jumped off a railroad bridge into Lake Ray. Irving went under and never resurfaced. After being reported missing, Irving's body was recovered from lake 4 days later. Nearly 3 months later, the investigation arrested Lucas Roper and a 17-year-old juvenile suspect. So both suspects are charged with tampering with physical evidence, a 3rd-degree felony. According to the Dallas Police Department, the arrest affidavits, rather than calling 911 or alerting Irving's mother when he drowned, the 2 teens panicked and fled the scene. They end up throwing his trees into the tree line and ditching his phone roadside ditch. They said the pond, so you say you gotta make sure you look at the different evidence. Well, I don't know exactly where he threw the phone. Deleted all text message and phone recordings connecting them to Irving to avoid getting into trouble. So the family and supporter, the family supported by attorney Ben Crump, held a press conference disputing the current charges go far enough. They argued that because he was a trained athlete and a strong swimmer, the official narrative does not add up. They are heavily pressuring local prosecutors to upgrade the charges to murder. See, this is the same thing with the teen who died in Mississippi. Now that there's a lot more things that don't add up in that case than this one. But if he jumped off a bridge, how do we know what happened? He jumped off a bridge. Or are they saying that he never would have jumped off a bridge in the first place? But let's keep going. So legal experts note that establishing a homicide charge faces a steep legal hurdle, as prosecutors would need to prove the suspect actually caused his death rather than simply exhiberating a guilty conscience and executed a cover-up after the fact. The Dallas Police Department active investigation remains ongoing. So as we know, let's see, just any more details that we missed. The affidavit reveals that the older suspect ordered the juvenile to throw his phone out of the moving vehicle window. As they fled, they stopped away from the scene to toss it into a roadside ditch. The discarded cell phone and his clothes were eventually recovered by police, only because the juvenile suspect later led detectives directly to the location where they were hidden. So he voluntarily sat for an interview with detectives on April 20th, 2026, just 3 days after the body was discovered. During the interview, he admitted that he panicked, deleted the phone logs because he knew a death investigation would happen, and fled. So the initial missing person investigation was handled by the police department after he left his Roosevelt home with the suspect. Once his body was recovered near the Paddle Point area in Lake Ray, the case had been transferred to the Dallas Police Department because the specific section of the lake sits within their county. As we know, they dispute family outrage over the timeline. So the family secondary attorney publicly slammed the police for the 3 months delay between Robert's April confession and his July 9th arrest. That is a long time now. They pointed out that while he sat at the bottom of the Lake Ray Hubbard for 4 days, the two suspects went back to school and lived their normal lives. I wonder why it took so long for them to come up with charges, because it seems like he admitted it right away. Why did it take so long for them to bring charges to them? The family is trying to convince the police to change the charges. They are heavily pressuring the Dallas County District Attorney to bypass the police department recommendation to take the case straight to the grand jury and secure a homicide indictment. So his sister revealed that at the time of his death, he was beginning the recruitment process into the Army. And of course, Ben Crump has connected this case to the death of the 18-year-old Nolan Wells. But see, in that case, we got more stuff that doesn't line up. But I haven't heard anything that they're saying is wrong. Are they saying that he wouldn't never jump off? But it's a lot of things to think about, y'all. But what are your thoughts and what are you thinking about this whole situation in general? Do you think that the charges need to be upgraded to murder? I mean, I don't. It doesn't sound like. I think something terrible happened because they decided to jump off a bridge. But I don't know if these kids went to kill him, and that was their ultimate goal. But people will believe what they want to believe. But let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said.